Fired up, folks. This is BG Wrestling, baby. We are here. That's right. Pre-seeds are out. You know, it's like extra meetings at work. You know what I mean? Wrestling world is in a tizzy. I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm going to get into it. Seating manipulation gone wrong. Along with that, Georgiopoulos got beat up. We're going to talk about that. The Brain breaks his foot. Talk about that. Talk about why I'm hurting. Cornell Kevin, he's coming in here momentarily. We got Wayne, he called in. He had to call in. What do you got? What's off the top of your head here?
Well, I have a question for you, and I have a question for Kevin when he comes on. But while we're waiting, I always had this vision of Easton Wrestling being just Hammer City. And I guess even the Easton wrestlers lose a little coordination after a couple years, because what I seen from Willie, what the world's going on there? I don't, what?
Willie broke his foot.
I'm just kidding, Willie. Willie, I'm just kidding.
Hey, listen, in fact, Kevin sent me the video. Why don't I put up the short video here? This is Willie. And this is, you gotta give Willie credit. Because, okay, here's Willie, and he goes out hold on. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Okay, this is the one. Here's Willie. Look at Willie. Okay, there's Willie, and, hey, he got the balls to go out there, boy, I tell you that, and you got to give him that, but yeah, didn't take much. Break that foot. Cornell Willie on the mend. The Brain on the mend, and Cornell Kevin's here.
Well, look, I don't want to interrupt your show, so I'll come with my two questions. First off, Zach, I hope tonight, and if this isn't in the plans, I'm sorry I brought it up. I hope you bring the pre-seeds out, because I've been in a truck. I only got to glance at them once. I want to see them again. And then my question to Kevin is, I learned from Larry Steele, who must have a major stud as a son, wrestler. Love to watch him sometime. But anyway, I heard from Larry Steele that Willie pointed out some of what's going to get fixed and what's not going to get fixed. Like, for instance, I hear Angelo may be unfixable. Angelo and Rocco are heading for quarterfinals. But Kevin, do you remember what Willie stated as fixable and not fixable?
I didn't catch that part of the show. No.
Okay, how about this whole process needs fixed? Because we got a what are we talking about? It's, like I said to start the show, this is extra meetings at work is what this reminds me of. Unnecessary extra meetings at work, wasting my time. Pre-seeds? What are we talking about? Pre-seeds? You put out the seeds. You just put them out. Nothing's changing between now and then. And Friday, and then we're going to have a meeting, and then they're going to change them up at the last second. One of these other things, along with the sportsmanship in the Hodge, that's just broke and just needs fixed in wrestling. It's not hard. But so the pre-seeds are out. But go ahead, Kevin. Sorry to interrupt. I had to get that in.
Kevin,
no, it's all
Kevin,
right.
Sounds like you. Yeah, Kevin, sounds like you got a wild bull on your hands tonight, boy. Hey, I'm going to get off.
Good one.
Let you guys do your thing, and have at it, man.
All right. Hey, listen, we're back Thursday with Wayne, folks. Tune in then. But Kevin, I'm going to let you kick it off, folks. Listen, the schedule. Kevin made up this graphic. The schedule is up on the screen for Friday and Saturday. This is all happening. This is the best time of the year. This is the time we all wait for. We'll talk about it. But Kevin, welcome to the show, man. How are you doing? And then I'm going to go quick. We got to call in Iowa Don. I'm sure Iowa Don has a couple things to say quick, and we'll get his 2 cents.
Good, man. I'm doing good. It's like we were talking earlier, Zach. It's just silly. Like, why can't they just do the seeds? Like, why do they have to come out the last second? Why are we not going to know the exact brackets until pretty much the tournament starts? It's been like this for a while too. This isn't anything new. I mean, Yanni's senior year, Yanni was going for his fourth NCAA title, and he was ranked second at EIWAs in the seeding. He was seeded second, I mean, behind Doug Zapp, who he just beat a week before, and he was seated behind him. Pat Glory was seated behind Brett Unger, who he majored the week before. And they were just like, just leave it, whatever. But it actually, our coaches were actually like game planning for it because they wanted these studs to wrestle teams that they were competing so they wouldn't score more points. So there also is that kind of stuff going on in the background too. So it's like, oh, they match like with the EIWA at the time. It was like, well, Lehigh's got to wrestle Yanni now in the semis, where if Yanni was seated first, he wouldn't wrestle him. So that's the kind of stuff they were doing then too.
Well, it's important you mention that because in all likelihood, we can expect minimum to no changes after this Friday meeting, this seating official meeting, which, is important. But I do want to go back to the one point that I also said at the start of the show. I'm happy to see that people are a little worked up about this because everyone seems so comfortable. Kale out there is not happy. I kind of like seeing Kale not happy about this because, and some of these coaches, because, everyone has their, we talk about it all the time, seeding manipulation. They're going to, and I've really been getting worked up about it here recently because it seems to me like wrestlers get undefeated. As soon as they're ranked number one, they kind of cut it and kind of stop wrestling because they know they're not moving off that spot. They won't move them off it. But I like the fact that, hey, it's shaking it up a little bit. I like that. And I agree. It has to be a system. People talking about you got to have people rankings. Well, there's analytics, and then you got to have a touch of manalytics in that as well. But listen, it has to be computers involved in this. And at the end of the day, if you don't wrestle, you're not going to get rewarded. And this kind of reflects that. I kind of like that. Iowa Don, you called in early, man. Welcome to the show. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. So I actually used to be a head wrestling coach at a high school in New Jersey, and when we would seed our districts, we had like a point system. But one of the things that we had in New Jersey that I liked a lot, that I think they need for something like this, is each coach would get one wild card, where if it was like a ridiculous weight class where you're like, all right, like you could kind of argue why, like if they didn't have like any head to head or whatever, but they're the better, like they're a freshman or whatever the case is, like to move them up. And then obviously you'd have like a vote on whether or not they did. I feel like something like that needs to be in place here. The most ridiculous ones to me personally, just looking at it as a whole, not just from like an Iowa perspective, I think it's Lucas Bird. Like I didn't really ever think he was going to win it this year, but I feel like this might light a little fire underneath him. Like, I don't know how you're undefeated, the returning national champ, and you get seated second behind a freshman. Like I know Marcus Blaze is an absolute stud. I know he's undefeated, but Lucas Bird, I think Kevin said it in one of the episodes before, he goes to Illinois. I mean, he only wrestles the schedule that they have. It's not he doesn't duck anybody. He beat like Ayala by more than Marcus Bird. I mean, if you're going to go like at any comparable opponents and things like that, like, and he won it last year. So to me, I'm like, I don't know how he can't be the number one seed. The other ridiculous one, Levi Haynes, like, there should be past criteria also involved, but yeah, I mean, he beat Minto head to head. I feel like if you're undefeated and there's someone else in the weight class that you beat head to head, they should never be seated ahead of you. So that doesn't make any sense to me. And he's a returning national champ, I mean, as a freshman, but still, I think that one. And then Ferrari, I kind of like the Ferrari thing as an Iowa fan, I'll be honest. Like, I think Ferrari can beat Rocco Welsh. I don't think they should be wrestling in the quarters, but I feel like if he can get over the hump and actually like win that match, like it sets him up nice, but obviously it's still like not a right seeding. I don't think he should be the 8th seed. So that's kind of my take on all of it.
Okay, that's a great take. We're going to break them all down, folks. We have all the conferences. We're going to be talking about them here momentarily, but I will also agree with you, Iowa Don, in the sense that it's got to be tweaked. Obviously, this algorithm has to be tweaked. You cannot have Levi Haynes getting that 2 seed. Very disrespectful to my boy Levi Haynes, but I do like the just the consistency, the sustainability angle that they're going here. Kevin, what are your thoughts to that?
Yeah, this thing's not going to be perfect. The thing that's obnoxious is the where it went wrong. It really went wrong. Where I'm not quite sure why they couldn't just look at that and go, okay, let's just switch this. Like those are easy switches, right? It. I know I'm not going to like totally bash them for what they're doing. They're trying to do it. They do a great job over at WrestleStat, and but there's something that needs to be tweaking. And here's the problem, though. There's so many different variables that can go into this. I don't really know. It's not like, Levi Haynes missed matches or it was some weird scenario like that. So I don't really understand how that could possibly happen. But it's something that's going to need some tweaking, But like Willie said earlier, it's just like, why not just have someone do it then, right? I know that they're trying to make it where nobody is going to, it's where it's like nobody can point like saying it's unfair or whatnot, but if they're going to have a coaches meeting afterwards and talk about it, then what's the point? And we don't know where, like Kale said, he didn't even know where these if Levi was 15 points within Minto, where he could switch it. He hadn't even known at that time yet. But I just think that like Don said there, that it's Bird can't help his schedule. If you're a national champion and you're undefeated and you didn't miss any of your time, you got to be the number one guy, right? There should be certain stipulations like that. If you miss time, or if you ducked a couple duels or something, that's a different story. But he literally cannot help what Illinois scheduled him, what the Big Ten scheduled Illinois. I mean, so yeah, it's tough too. Like Ferrari, it's not even that. That doesn't help. Like that doesn't help the one seed at all too. You ask Rocco Welsh, is he really going to want Ferrari in the quarterfinals? Probably not.
I don't think. First of all, personally, I don't think Ferrari cares about that. What seed he is, just get him in the ball game. But I'll also say this. You saw Kale kind of talking, and he was not happy about it. But to the other point of the sense that there's not going to be any changes, because what you imagine what this room's going to be like, okay? And I don't want to stick on this too long, but they all go in this Friday meeting, apparently, and what? Is Kale going to speak up to these other coaches and say, this is outrageous, Levi should be the number one? We all need to vote on it. Like how's that even go in that room? You know what I mean? Like, what? No wonder no changes are ever made. Like, what does it take? What would it take? And then a coach does that one time for one wrestler, and then they're going to say, and then he does it for another one. Oh, now you're the coach who cried wolf. Get him at it. Like, no wonder the system's broke. Okay, clearly system's broke, but I am on board with some kind of computer algorithm system, but we're going to get to it. You see the schedule up on the screen. We're going to break it all down here, but I with Don, want to give you a chance for some final thoughts here.
Yeah, I mean, I think minimally when they do the coaches meeting, they should at least come to an agreement if they want to go off of whatever their point system is and leave like someone like a Marcus Blaze ahead of Bird, whatever. Okay, they'll wrestle in the finals. It is what it is. Hopefully, or Davino if he somehow sneaks in there. But looking at the Haynes one, that one's just ridiculous. Like if you're undefeated and you beat the guy that's seated ahead in the weight class with you, you only wrestled one time and you beat him head to head, then you should automatically jump him to the number one spot. That's like, and Levi Haynes has beat multiple guys in the weight class. It's not like that was the only match. You know what I mean? So that one to me is like, and Kale obviously is like the most respected coach in, the country. So I think he doesn't need to speak up all the time, but that's one where if I were him, I would speak up for. I think I think the other coaches would agree with him on that one,
I think that it's not even if you think about it, Kale probably doesn't really care. Like Levi Haynes, he's gonna, that's not even a big deal. You know who would care though? Tom Brands, who has Patrick Kennedy on Levi Haynes' side now instead of Minto. That's someone that would speak up and should speak up, because I can tell you what, he does not want to wrestle Levi in the semis. He'd rather try and wrestle him in the finals if he beats Minto, because Levi's majored him a few times. So that's other things that you got to look at, is like, if you're the top dog, you might not care. Like I remember, like again, when Yanni was second seed and Pat Glory was 2 seed, they just left him there because they were like, who cares? Like these guys are going to win their, but yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of,
Well, it's funny because it's just, what should happen is Tom Brand should be the one speaking up for Levi to be the number 1 seed. Right? Like, in all honesty, Tom Brand should speak up in this Friday meeting and say, Levi, this is outrageous. How is Levi Haynes not the 1 seed? Like, you're screwing my wrestler. Yeah. There's a couple wrestlers getting screwed in this, but
that's what I'm saying is, like, he should speak. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm still on board with the brands too. I know a lot of people have been saying the brands should go. I disagree. I think the brands should stay. I think there were multiple things that led to it not being a great season, but that aside, yeah. I think the brands are like, they stick to their word, whether you love them or hate them. Like I think they'll speak up if they see something that's not right and not good for their wrestler too. I think I'd be shocked if they don't say anything with that Levi Haynes situation, especially. Well, you both have a great point. Patrick Kennedy is definitely a major underdog to Levi Haynes. They don't want that match happening in the semifinal. They want him to get a better seed at NCAAs and hopefully make a run to the finals at least. So of the Big Tens.
Yeah. No, I agree. Iowa Don, you made some incredible points. Okay, the only thing you did bad was calling at the very start of the show, so I can't. We gotta roll, but I definitely call in again because I'd love to.
I will.
No,
get into some deep conversation here, but we haven't even gotten the show started yet, folks. By the way,
thanks for calling, man.
Iowa Don called in. The comments are firing off, and check this out. I got this. You know why I got this? It's a smash. Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button, baby. I'm getting props. Kevin's got a little banger there. Look at that, dude. Bang on that like button. Smash the subscribe button, folks, if you haven't already. But Iowa Don, all right, man. You brought it. We appreciate
good work,
it.
Guys. Yeah.
Call in again soon.
Thanks so
you.
much, man.
I will.
And, we got a lot to talk about. As I mentioned, we got all the conference brackets here we're going to talk about. And, the schedule's up on the screen. That's pretty important. Friday and Saturday, it's firing off, Kevin. But
yeah, I'll get to Sunday. It will be on. It'll be on X, or we'll put it in the comments in the YouTube. But I just didn't have time to get to the Sunday one yet. But that'll be on there too.
Okay, comment in the chat. Call in if you have something really you want to say. But I got to show you this, folks. BEG Studios, real quick before we dive into it, is making progress before and after I give you the update. Look, subfloor done. Okay. Just got to give you that update because I cannot wait. We've been functioning out of a garage for the longest time, and I can't wait. But, Kevin, let's start at Big Ten, 125 through 149 here. Here are the seeds, and feel free to talk about any of these 4 weight classes. What's right, what's wrong. Go ahead.
Yeah, 125, Spencer Moore, where did he come from? Dean Peterson, where he is, and Spencer Moore, where he is, that's where I have an issue. Ironically enough, Dean Peterson beat Spencer Moore this year, which is even crazier. And I just, that to me is just a huge, what are we doing? Nick Bouzakis should be the second ranked guy, but I understand that Nick didn't wrestle in all the duels, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to reward the guys that are wrestling in the duels. But again, it doesn't help other people either that are wrestling, what they're supposed to. Now they got, a stud on their side where they wouldn't before. So that's the problem with doing it the way they're doing it. The same thing with, really, Zach, real quick, let's go off, but with the way they do the international wrestling, the way they seed that. They're like, okay, get guys that do these ranking series events, they come in, then they get seeded. Well, the problem is the really good guys for a while weren't going to these ranking events, so it didn't matter, right? Mm-hmm. And they were just a landmine. So it's tough, man. It's a tough job. But yeah, 125, I think that's the main issue, is just why is Spencer Moore seeded second, and why is Luke Lillidahl and Dean Peterson going to wrestle second round? That's
okay. I was going to mention that because I wanted to get into the expected matchups if these seeds hold. And, yeah, the obvious one to me is Dean Peterson, Luke Lillidahl, round 2 there. Yikes. For Dean Peterson, no respect. Unbelievable. Should have kept Iowa down online for that one. But to me, Buzakis getting the 3, ultimately that's kind of irrelevant because, 2, 3, same deal. But
yeah, just basically Spencer Moore and Peterson, really. Everything else with that way, it's kind of whatever.
133. Anything else? Final thoughts on 125? Anything?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Now, here, 133. The disrespect for Lucas Bird has been shown on this show, and now it's showing in the rankings and the seedings because he's the 2 to Marcus Blaze. But how's this going to shake out here?
Well,
go ahead.
I just think that with being the defending national champion undefeated, that he deserves to have Davino and Blaze on the other side, right? I think that Davino and Blaze should be on the same side. And I get that Blaze wrestled Davino and beat him, so now Blaze is on that side. But to me, it's just kind of a very unusual to have a defending national champ that hasn't lost to be seated behind the true freshman. So yeah, that's, if I was to switch something, it would be, as much as I personally think that Blaze and Davino could beat Bird, but to have it the right way, I think that those two should be on the same side. Outside of that, it's, really, Ayala's got a pretty good.
I was going to say, this one actually benefits the Iowa fans, and Ayala seems like he has a pretty good path there. He's going to go to the, semis up against Blaze, and you expect Davino and Bird on the other side there.
Yeah, and not for nothing, but Bird does have it pretty good all the way up to the semi, wrestling probably Davino. But, Spittle can be tough, but, he's got a bye and then probably Spittle before Davino, so yeah, that's about it with that one, not anything too crazy.
Before we talk about 141, listen, I forgot to mention, go to WrestleMadness.com, sign up. You can sign up for Big Ten championships, and you can also sign up for the NCAAs coming up. The league is BEG Wrestling, and the code is We Are Here, all caps. Only 5 entries, free entries remain with that code. So if you've been putzing around, waiting around, there's only 5 entries that remain. Code We Are Here, League BEG Wrestling. Go to WrestleMadness.com. It's the fantasy football of wrestling, folks. And, all right, let's go ahead. Let's move to 141. We got Mendez 1. We got Hardy 2, and the path for Braden Davis seems virtually impossible, right, Kevin?
Yeah, it's a bottom-heavy bracket, because let's face it, this year Bally is not who he once was. Dylan Ragetson certainly is not who he once was. Mendez is just, blowing his way through. And then the bottom, you got Vombar, who maybe isn't having the season that he expected to have, but still is very good. Brock Hardy. You got Oliveri, who's undefeated. I got Braden Davis winning that match all day, but that's a tough match for both those guys to wrestle first round. And, the reason Oliveri is ranked where he is and he's undefeated is because he has not wrestled in any Big Ten dual meets this year. Not one Big Ten dual meet. He was under some kind of, not a suspension, but some disciplinary thing with Rutgers, right? So he went to the Bloomsburg Open unattached. I'm guessing that was just because he couldn't be attached because of the disciplinary. The matches still counted, though, because he's certified, so they still count. But he hasn't. So that's, if people that are all up in arms about that, that's why, is because he wrestled in no Big Ten duels. And because of that, they're going to hit him hard for that. But that bottom bracket will be fun, I kind of like it because I feel like Mendez is just going to blow through whoever anyway. So now we get to see these guys all on the bottom wrestling good matches against each other. So as a fan, it's great.
Okay, who's taking Davis? No. Olivieri.
Davis, definitely.
Davis, okay, and then he loses to Hardy, right? Okay. Top side. Here's a fun one, folks. I'm going to say one of my top 5 funnest first-round matchups, Ragusin and Puccino. Well, Danny Puccino, man, we had a chance to interview him. He's been hurt this year. but he would be ranked a lot higher if he wasn't hurt. And Regison's good. That's going to be a fun first rounder. And then winner of that goes on. I'm going to go Pacino and Bailey second round there. Anything crazy in this weight class, Kevin, before we move on to 149?
Nah. No, I think it's just going to be a couple of Mendez bonuses, and then, we'll see.
Folks,
if
we were on
Hardy can give
Cactus
him a close
Wrestling.
match.
We were on Cactus Wrestling. Go check out Cactus Wrestling. Me and Kevin did a, we were guests on their show, and that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
NCAA finals predictions, and reading the comments of their show, a lot of people said a lot of disrespect that we gave to Shane Van Ness, and a lot of people had me thinking about that. Shane Van Ness gets the 1 seed here at 149. Ethan Styles the 2. And Kevin, tell us here about 149. Are we maybe disrespecting Van Ness? Maybe I've now scaled it back a little bit. I'm thinking now maybe Van Ness might be the guy here.
I don't. As far as this show we did, I don't think saying that predicting that a guy is going to get third is really disrespectful. When he hasn't placed higher than that. It's not like any of us were like, "There's no way he's going to win." We all picked it, kind of thinking, yeah, there'd have to be some upsets for that to happen. I think I don't remember if it was Jack or Mike said that, they thought that he choked the other NCAAs. I don't think that. I think that he had really good people in his weight class. He lost to Yanni. He lost to Lovett, right? So, and he was a freshman and a sophomore. So I don't think that. He's the favorite. He's the favorite to win the weight, We were just predicting. But looking at this bracket, Zach, again, his toughest match is going to be Ryder Block in the second round. That'll be a lot tougher than his semifinal because we've already seen what he did to Carter Young. It took him down 47 times after he was losing. And Lachlan McNeil is just, Van Ness already majored him. He's a shell of himself. Looking at the bottom part, Ethan Styles, Chance Lamer, Zargo. He's got some good wins this year. So I think it's kind of a weak weight. I think that Van Ness is not going to have any issue at all with this weight class.
No, I agree. Here at Big Tens, Christian in the comments says Von Barr has turned it around. He's wrestling his best right now. I got to agree with him. I don't sleep on Von Barr there at 141. But Kevin, as we move along here, I want to keep in mind the big picture here. Now, if there's anything like some of these matchups, expected finals matchups, what implications are they going to play into the NCAA rankings? Because that's what really this is about. This matters, but it doesn't really matter. What it really matters for is your seating at NCAA. So as we roll along here, I just want to keep that in mind, like, some of these matchups that could have big implications here immediately following the conclusion of these conference championships. But we will roll on here, 157 through 184 here, folks. And here we go. 157, Antrell Taylor, well-deserved. PJ Duke, the number 2. PJ Duke going to face Brandon Cannon, round 2. Oh, my goodness. Brandon Cannon faces Victor Voinovich the first round. Add that to the first round fun matchups to watch. Cannon Webster is going to face PJ Duke on that side. I'm telling you right now. Kevin, go ahead.
This is ridiculous. I mean, Antrell Taylor, does he not just?
You are not an Antrell Taylor fan.
No. Listen, man. Actually, I think he's a really good dude, man. I don't love his style of wrestling. Nothing to do with who he beat in the semis last year. I just, I know the kid is capable of so much more. I've seen it. When he's losing, he does it, right? So I'd like to just see him do that to begin with. But he's teched Cam Canterbone this year already. He had this sudden outburst of offensive explosion that we haven't seen from him ever, and he teched him. Look at the other side. You got Cannon Webster, Charlie Millard, Cannon, and Duke on one side. It could not be any more ridiculous. I mean, he's got to be laughing. Look at this. Like, how can you have Duke, Cannon, Millard, and Webster on one side and Taylor on the other side? It's insane.
Yeah, Taylor gets rewarded, you could say. PJ Duke, I'm going to go right down the same lines of Angelo Ferrari here. I don't think PJ Duke really cares, but I will say that second round matchup is whoever loses that, Brandon Cannon, PJ Duke. Okay, I just mentioned NCAA implications. That's going to be big. Brandon Cannon, if he loses that, he hasn't wrestled a lot of matches. That's going to be way bigger if Brandon Cannon loses that than if PJ Duke loses that, right? That makes sense.
Having a conference, you got to realize that winning your conference tournament is 10%. If you're going to 100%, it's 10%. Head to head is 25%. So yeah, whoever loses that match, they're going to get seated lower than that person at NCAA's, obviously. But look at the quarterfinals. Let's just say that it goes by seed or whatever, right? Look at the quarterfinals. You're going to have on the bottom half Duke versus Cannon and Millard versus Webster. The other side, Antrell versus Stony Buell, and then Canterbone versus Anthony White. Are you kidding me? Does that sound okay to anybody? I mean, you don't even have to go to the semis.
Anthony White is out of line. Anthony White's, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Webster and Millard. Millard is so tough, man. Millard can beat anybody. I don't think he can string matches together, but he can beat anybody, and so can Webster. And Cannon, I think, was the best guy at the weight before he got hurt. And Duke is a phenom, So yeah, this one is. I have a more problem with this weight than any other weight in Big Tens.
Okay, it's tough to argue with that, but hey, I love the how it's going to shake out. But yeah, it's going to be big implications. I think what I was trying to say is that if Brandon Cannon loses to PJ Duke, it's going to have bigger implications for his NCAA ranking than it would if PJ Duke loses to Brandon Cannon, because PJ Duke has more of a track record at this point. But we'll find out. I mean, no, but to me that makes sense. I mean, that's going to be a critical. I mean, this weight class, we've been talking about it all year. It's just going to be a fun weight class to watch. So that's the Big Ten.
On that bottom half, Zach, you could have an NCAA final in the Big Ten quarterfinal. You can't say it's impossible. That could happen. It's crazy.
Yeah, in fact, if you watch Cactus, my finals prediction is PJ Duke and Antrell Taylor, so both of them coming out of the Big Ten. But we'll move on. 165, it's Messenbrink 1, Caliendo 2, Blaze the 3, and Sparks the 4. Seems right? Right?
Yeah. Except for Blaze at Caliendo. Why did Blaze? Well, why is Blaze undefeated and beat Caliendo, and he's seated behind him?
Yeah, no, you're right. I just always don't. To me, the 2 and the 3 are always the same. I just consider them. I shouldn't, but yeah, no, you're right. Joey Blaze getting a little disrespected there. I don't think Joey Blaze.
Joey Blaze is gonna have Braden Skulls, and Caliendo's gonna have Barbosa. I'm not saying that Blaze is gonna have any trouble with that, but it's significantly more difficult. And then. Man, Messenbrink is just going to smoke everybody in that top half. Unless Tyler Lillard. I mean, he had that close match with Blaze, but I don't know if you remember what Messenbrink did to him this year. It was just really bad. It was just, he pounded him pretty good. So, yeah, that's it. Well, that weight's not bad though. It's like you said, not a big difference.
Okay, I think what you need to watch here is the Blaze Caliendo expected rematch. I think Blaze wins that again. Again, we talk styles after watching that first one. It's going to be tough for Caliendo, but that will have big implications on NCAA rankings, right? Like huge. Is that not maybe arguably the biggest match?
Yeah, that's the biggest semifinal match of any conference tournament, because whoever wins that match is going to be on the opposite side of Mitchell Messenbrink. Whoever loses that match is going to be on the same side as Mitchell Messenbrink at either a 4 or a 5 behind Bianchi possibly. So that, you're going to assume that Lockett's going to take care of business. You know, he does have a tough weight class though there, but you know, I assume that he will. So yeah, and I have no reason to think that after that last match that Caliendo's going to win that match against Blaze, because I didn't think he was really that close to him. But yeah, whoever wins has a much better shot at going to the finals of NCAAs than whoever loses. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break. Let's go to comments here. A little quick break. I thought I need to take more time to read these comments. When they get popping, dude, some of these people say some very intelligent things. I don't ever give them any respect. So, Bucky the King, no Blaze should be the 2, but regardless, 2 and 3 basically are the same. Kevin Barr, how healthy are Cannon and Ferrari, and will they have gas coming off of this long layoff? Yeah, no, that's been my concern. That's been my concern mainly for Angelo, because that weight class is so stacked. We're right on the horizon of getting to it. But, yeah, it's going to be tough to just come back and win a title. That would be impressive. Sean Garner says it would be nice to be able to read the brackets you're talking about. Yeah, they're a little small. You're going to have to watch it on your TV or zoom in or go follow
just go to my
Kevin
X account
S.
and open them up. You know.
Yeah, normally listen, folks, you saw the construction BG Studios underground. Normally I'd put together my own graphics here and didn't have time today. But
this is something that I did while the live bracket show was going on. I was taking screenshots while Shane Sparks was talking.
Because
that's the only way we could get him at the time.
We got Kevin's
that's what that is. That's dude,
Yikes.
that's something that I just like clicked real quick because nobody else had them out, so I put them out before. But yeah,
okay.
just
all right, Sean,
they're
listen,
everywhere.
you're right. And I'll be better next time, man. Listen, Wrestle Madness says agreed. I don't know why everyone is whining. Wrestles who is in front of you. Let's go. All right. And let's go. Let's talk about 174. It's Minto over Levi. That's just funny. Kennedy, it's screwing my boy Pat Kennedy, man. BEG Dog of the Year 2024. We forgot to even have a 20. We're still waiting on the 2025 BEG award show. Unbelievable, Kevin. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But Montanona there at the 4. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, man. Eddie Enright and Gilcher, I think, will be a good first-round match. You know, Pinto, it just depends on what Pinto shows up. But, yeah, I mean, you know, the big elephant in the room here is the fact that you got Haynes over there. I don't think that, besides everybody just being like, why, how could you possibly put Haynes there? Besides that, I'm at least glad that you have, you know, with Haynes, Kennedy, Karchla, and Minto, I'm glad that you have 2 on one side and 2 on the other side. And the side that doesn't have Haynes has Matt Nona. So I think that that's fine, right? That you got 3 studs on one side, 2 on the other. So besides the obvious that Haynes should be the number 1, it's not that big of a deal unless you're an Iowa fan.
No, I don't think Levi don't care. I know Levi don't care, and probably Pat Kennedy doesn't care, but Tom Brand should go to bat for him at the Friday meeting. Tom, you better go to bat for Pat Kennedy, but I'll say this. Interesting matchup, and maybe to me, I like looking big picture. I'm a big picture guy, Kevin. NCAA implications. Carson Harchula, Silent K, I do believe. Maybe I'm wrong. That Harchula-Montanona matchup is going to be fun, and Harchula needs to win some matches here. Like, for his NCAA, he's got to go. He's got to make it. Like, maybe he could make it to the finals, should make it to the finals on that top side. With Minto there as the 1 if this holds, right? Is that crazy? But mean, Harchula Minto, maybe has the most to win or lose here.
Those 2 guys, I mean, if you were to ask me who am I most threatened by with Simon Ruiz outside of the obvious Haynes, I think I mentioned on the show, is a healthy Karchla and Minto. Those 2 guys, I think, either one of those guys could make the finals at NCAAs. You know, and they're going to wrestle in the semi. So, yeah.
Okay. Kevin, before we go on, I'm going to bring in Sean. And, folks, if you're a fan of the show, you know Sean very well. I got to bring him in, and we got to get an update. Sean, listen, You bailed out watching the last big match because you went on a Valentine's Day party. There was a lot of single ladies there apparently. And do you have a girlfriend now, Sean? Welcome to the show.
I don't kiss and tell, okay?
He got a girlfriend, folks. All right, what do you got to say, Sean? These rankings are out, man.
Yeah, this is. I want to say I'm not proud to say this, but I have ingested some mind-altering substances in my day. I have.
You don't say.
Various. I have. Well, what is that supposed to mean?
I hope not tonight,
no
Sean.
Idea.
But go ahead.
Just throwing it out there.
I've reached various levels of inebriation. I don't think I've ever been so messed up to come up with brackets like this.
Oh, you're outraged. What? Give us your top 2 or 3 that yours is just the craziest.
Okay, well, obviously number 1 is Minto over Haynes. Makes no sense whatsoever. Haynes undefeated, beat Minto. Minto's lost to 3 guys in the field. He has 4 losses total on the season. 3 of them are in his bracket. He's the number 1 seed over the clear-cut number 1 guy in the country.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree. And I defend Levi to the end of my days. Go ahead. Number 2.
So number 2, Blaze Caliendo. Blaze, he's undefeated and he beat Caliendo. Case closed. That's it. That's it. I don't know what else to say. And there were multiple other ones, but Cannon at 7, he's below Millard. He's beaten Millard by 7, and he's majored him.
And that's your boy Cannon, right?
Oh, absolutely. And by the way, and that one loss was that one 7-point win over Millard, which he got hurt, and it's irrelevant that he got hurt in that match, but that was his only win this season that wasn't by bonus. That was and he's number 7.
He's 7.
He's got he's got like 6 ranked wins.
3.
6 ranked wins. All of them by bonus points, except for that Millard victory. And you have him seeded. Well, I don't care that he doesn't have an RPI or that he didn't hit that magical 15 match mark.
Let me ask you this, Sean. I think we can all agree the computer, the algorithm wasn't exactly correct. You are smarter at this moment, Sean, than the computer science, but do you agree with the idea of the system and a computer system, or do you think we should just keep it people?
Well, if you're going to go to a system like this, you need to test it much better than they did before. There are ways you could test the inputs of the system. It'd be very simple.
I got to jump in real quick. Okay. The one thing you guys are missing, though, is the fact that what they are, the criteria that they're seating these guys on is based on the Big Ten duels. And as much as it sucks, and as much as I think Cannon, before he got hurt, was the number 1 guy in the country at this weight, he didn't wrestle in several Big Ten duels, so that's where it hurt him. So even if it wasn't a computer, even if it was the coaches and they were seeding off of this criteria, they would still say, well, he hasn't wrestled in these duels. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's what they did it off of, So something like that, I understand a lot more than the, per se, Levi and Minto thing, But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
In your face, Sean.
That's fine. So you could test this very easily. You could just apply this formula to past years. Like go back in past years and see what this formula would have spit out, and you almost certainly would have found wild discrepancies, major flaws with the system if you would have done something like this. And I just don't think there was enough care in implementing this. So you could possibly come up with a formula that would be better than even any human involvement whatsoever. I don't think that's right. I think there should be at least a third to a half component of coaches vote or an independent committee. Some human element should be involved.
Combination analytics plus manalytics. Yeah.
That would probably be the best. But I think there. Before we just bag on the whole idea of analytics and formulas and all this stuff, you have to look at the process and how this was agreed. This was agreed to by the coaches, who I don't think really understood the process when they agreed to this. Right now, so one thing we saw, like Angelo and Cannon get absolutely hammered. I mean, seated way lower than anybody thinks they should. And pretty much entirely because they didn't hit that magic 15 match mark.
Mm-hmm. No, it was because they didn't wrestle the duels, their conference duels. I think you're thinking the RPI is more important than it is, because it's not. It's all about them not wrestling in the Big Ten duels. That's all that is, really. Okay. Same with Oliveri. He's undefeated, but he wrestled no Big Ten.
Which I'm not necessarily opposed to. You know, if you get penalized for not wrestling, I'm in favor of that. But go ahead, Sean.
Cannon did wrestle 3 Big Ten duels at National Duels Invitationals, but apparently that's not relevant. I mean,
they are counted.
No, it is relevant. It is relevant. It's just that they're going off of, that's all he wrestled. I don't know how many. I don't know if they wrestle 10 teams or something in the conference. I'm not sure what the number is off the top of my head, but
they have 8 duels, which is also a problem. I think they should wrestle 10. I think there's a problem of not enough of these guys see each other during the season, so you get some wonky seedings that way.
How about this, Sean? Do you think this is going to lead to any changes in scheduling going forward if this is how seeding holds?
I mean, the teams don't have any control over their conference scheduling. There's going to be some drama because obviously I think there's one positive thing this does is it does encourage guys to actually wrestle during the season, because we saw people that missed time, whether it was their fault or not, get punished for it. But we also saw something interesting in that the people that showed up and wrestled and were ducked by another team or didn't wrestle the guy that is going to the conference tournament from wherever school they were wrestling, those guys got punished big time as well. Levi wrestled every Big Ten dual meet, but I think he only wrestled 4 guys that are in the field. So he basically just wrestled. The system says he wrestled 4 Big Ten dual meets.
Yeah. Because
he only, 4 guys that are going to be competing this weekend.
Well,
that's a big
Sean,
point.
At the end of the day, your Ohio State boys, they got to go out there and they got to win these matches. And we got to roll on. So I'm going to have to let you go, Sean. And we're going to be back this week with the live Matt call-in show. So call in. Let's update. I want to hear the pickup line that you used to pick up this chick that you don't kiss and tell about. But we got to roll on, Sean, because we're still only at 184 in the Big Tens. Thanks again. We'll talk to you again soon. And, well, we lost Kevin there, folks. But so Kevin, I'm sure he'll call back in. But, Sean, go ahead. Stick with me then. We're 184. It's Rocco Welsh, the 1, Matt Canelli, the 2, Allred, the 3, Montanona, the 4, and Angelo Ferrari, the 8. We're going to see him up against Rocco Welsh in the second round. And Fishback, Allred, second round. How do you feel about that Fishback Allred expected matchup?
It's a complete toss-up. they've split this year, and they were tight, basically 4-1 or 4-2 matches both times. So I could see that going either way whatsoever. I don't think there's a favorite in that match. Chris Moore from Illinois got the 5 seed. I think that he's a pretty strong beneficiary of Illinois having a pretty bad conference schedule there. I don't think he's as good as Fishback or who's the 7 there? I can't read it. Who's the 7?
Yeah, I can't read it either.
Yeah, so,
you got McAnally the 2, Allred the 3, Shane Corntega Walsh. That's your 7. McAnally's going to breeze through.
There's
Winner Allred Fishback
off.
is who McAnally's going to face, Sean. And let me.
And then that's going to be a 4-1 sudden victory match. Probably McAnally winning that one. Go ahead.
All right. So who do you have taking this bracket, Sean? We're waiting to hear back. We lost Kevin, folks.
I've been leaning on McAnally probably the whole season. I think he's getting slept on for losing to Sinclair and Ferrari and National Duels. And I think he's been kind of under the radar, but I think he's the best athlete at this weight class and can probably.
Who do you think is winning the Ferrari Welsh matchup?
You have to lean with Rocco right now, right? I mean, he won the last time they wrestled. You just there's no telling where AJ's health really is. You have to imagine if he was somewhat healthy, he would have wrestled the Oklahoma State duel, but he didn't show up.
Well, I'll say this.
I'll
say this. I think I'm gonna go out on. I'm gonna pick Ferrari to win this, and I'll tell you why. There's just so much more to gain for Angelo Ferrari, okay? And I'm going to go back to, yes, these Big Tens, these conference championships, they matter. However, they don't really matter. And Angelo needs this win bigger for his NCAA seeding than what Rocco does, in my opinion. I think you're going to see Angelo Ferrari and McAnally in the finals. I don't think this is going to hurt Rocco at all. Big picture, but I think there's just more to lose. Angelo's going to come out more desperate. He's going to win this match, but at NCAAs, I think you're back to a toss-up there. Is that crazy, Sean?
I understand that perspective totally. My concern with Angelo is he already wrestles kind of on the edge anyway. He wrestles he doesn't leave himself a lot of room for error the way he wrestles anyway. I mean, if you understand what I'm saying, we
all understand. It's going to be 4-1, yeah. But don't don't hate the style, hate the game, Sean. And we're going to move on. What's that? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm not. It's not a critique of Angelo, really. It's it was more just an observation. Angelo wrestles in a lot of tight positions. He puts himself in a lot of awkward situations, and he gets himself out. If he's a little bit compromised, is he able to defend all those shots that he's so freakishly good at?
Angelo needs to let it go. Let it go, Angelo. If you're listening, I know you are. Let it rip this weekend. You are the most athletic guy in this weight class, yet somehow you're being perceived as the most conservative guy at this weight class, Angelo. And we all know that's not true, okay? We all know how athletic you are. Everyone hates your knee wrestling. Let's start taking advantage of that offensively, okay? We've utilized it defensively. Let's start taking advantage of it offensively, and let's get in on some of those shots. Sean, we're going to roll on. Listen, call back in here this weekend because we need to hear from you, man. Dating advice. A lot of people out here need dating advice. We're going to be starting a BEG Wrestling dating show. So, all right, we'll talk to you soon, Sean.
Take care.
All right, look who it is. Wayne back in. Kevin should be back in. I don't know what happened there. I had to keep the show on the rails. But, Dad, what you have to feel a little disrespected the same way Kale felt during that interview I watched, right? So this is a broke system.
Well, yes. And the thing is my first thoughts is if I'm Rocco, I'm grabbing a partner somewhere and literally having a live match in the back room because I see it as an absolute advantage that Angelo has a warm-up match. It's tough to come out after a guy has already got the blood flowing and the whole 9 yards. I don't want to see these two in the quarters, and that's crazy, but it is what it is. And ultimately, if Rocco wants to be a Big Ten champ, he's got to get through Angelo. And, I hope it's a little more open than it was that first match during the duel. But anyway, I'm done with 84.
Okay, listen.
Want to move on.
You're coming back, and we're doing a show Thursday. You wanted to do a different style show. Questions. Just hitting each other with questions, right? You twisted it up. Like one of the questions I think you were going to ask me is, what would you do to fix wrestling, to make it explode right away? Well, there's some obvious things like we have pre-seeds. What is this? So we can send out feelers and see what people like and don't like? Like, that's just this is dumb, right? It's stupid.
So dumb.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this whole thing is, but there's a lot about wrestling. To me, one of the biggie things is just coordinating everything. And we have social media and we have the internet. So it's very doable. And I'm talking about every ref, every coach, every wrestler, every fan watching and having a very clear understanding. This is stalling. Refs, we expect you to call stalling here. Put it together very professionally and very thoroughly. So everyone we got to get the refs coordinated closer together. We got one guy that's going for a bow and arrow and he's grabbing the back leg, and one ref's starting the 5 count. And the next ref, there's no count whatsoever. You can hang on to that leg and work for the bow and arrow as long as you want. Like, get things coordinated. And it's more than just the stalling. It's a lot of a lot of aspects that just can be coordinated by better communication. And
we're going to talk about a lot more Thursday.
Yeah, I'll get off now that Kevin's back. No, I want you guys to do your thing, but
I'll say this: the real estate piece is one of the very simple pieces. How are you having NCAA championships on the same weekend as the basketball March Madness? That's number one in my book. That is the most no-brainer thing. The NFL has given you the playbook for this. Dude, NFL eats up real estate every open weekend of the year. If there is not a big sporting event, NFL will create, we're going to have the draft this week, and then we're going to have this. Like, NFL is eating up real estate, okay? It's all about, that's what it is. It's about people's time. People's time is valuable. Wrestling, what are you doing having it the same? Stop. March Madness is huge, dude. People love March Madness. Have it the next weekend or the weekend before. Like, you got to move off that real estate wrestling because that's a no-brainer to me, but
that's an excellent point.
It's not rocket science, dude. I'm just reading what the NFL is doing. Like, they're just doing that. They've taken over the NBA. They've taken over the sports world by understanding that simple concept. If there's an open weekend that there's not sports, make something so the NFL is on the headline of the sport. Like, wrestling needs to
Well,
change.
hey, I'm going to let you guys do it. One of our fans sent me this, Zach, and
Penn State wrestling shirt.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Look at that.
You know, it's Japanese or something, and I didn't know what it meant. When
did Cowboy Brian send you that? Cowboy Brian sent you that.
I thought, that could say something nasty. I better be careful. I don't know what that says. So, okay, we'll see you guys.
All right, we'll be back Thursday with Wayne. But Kevin's back here. We're gonna wrap up Big Ten. Anything here? 197 in heavyweight. Anything crazy here? I think Barr is going to take that. You got Gotti Ali as the one, a heavyweight, Ferrari the 2. And, okay. Where?
No.
Cole Mirasola up against Gotti Ali. Oh, that could be fun. That's going to be fun.
Didn't Mirasola beat Feldman?
Yeah.
That's a big difference there. Well, not really, because I mean, you know, who do you want, Gotti Ali or Ferrari? It's a tough match either way.
Ferrari on the same side as Feldman. Oh my goodness, we're gonna see that for the 3rd time. AJ's gonna have to overcome that hurdle. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And that is going to have back to the bigger picture of the NCAA implications for the rankings here. That is, AJ can't be wild about that, but that'll be fun to watch.
3rd time's a charm, maybe.
Maybe he comes out firing there, but we'll move on here. This is going long. We'll make it quick here. Let's roll through Big 12. Bang. Here's 125. Here's 133 at Big 12 Conference Championships. Kevin, tell us about this.
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. I don't know what happened. My whole system just went down, so I apologize. So, yeah, if you want to we can fire through this quick.
Spratley, the one at 125, and Pullen the 2. That? Go ahead. Spratley, the 1 seed.
I love Big 12s. I think that doesn't get enough credit for how good Big 12s is because, you know, Big 10s is the marquee conference tournament, but Big 12s has a number of really good brackets in this. When we get to it, I'll mention the one I'm thinking of. But, yeah, you know, Pullen and Strickenberger, they've wrestled twice this year. The first time was at CKLV. Strickenberger won the match in sudden victory. And then the second time, Pullen majored him, which was kind of a surprise. But, you know, I think Spratley's the most consistent. I think he, you know, handles this weight pretty. I think he doesn't have any issue with that weight. I'm really curious to see how Larkin does at 133. I feel like we haven't got to see a lot of him. You know, we hear a lot about him, but he was injured for quite a while there. And how does he match up? You know, he's going to have probably Farber and then Frost if he beats Farber. So that should be interesting. Jax Forrest should not be challenged at all on his side of the bracket.
Well, that's interesting. Evan Frost is the 2, Larkin 3, Farber there, a sneaky 6 seed at 133.
How many? Which I'm kind of curious. Like, as far as Larkin's seed, has he been even?
Jet
See, he only wrestled a couple. He wrestled like 4 dual meets in the conference. You know, I'm just trying to gauge where these guys are getting punished and where they're not for wrestling. So, I mean, he wrestled like half of them. So I'm surprised he got the seed he did, really.
Back to 125, Strickenberger Pullen as the 3-2 seed there. That's going to be a fun matchup.
Yeah, third time they wrestle.
Yeah,
this year.
It's just going to be, where is Evan Frost at? Where is Evan Frost? Is he the guy we think he is? That Frost-Larkin matchup, yeah. To me, at 133, that's going to be the fun one. And then
41 is just a Vega Echemendia, really. You know, there's not really much going on there. I'm curious to see what kind of how Swiderski's doing, because he is someone that contend for a title. He could contend for a title. He's tough, but what kind of we'll find out what kind of shape he's in and what if he's injured or not. But I do like him to win this weight, really, regardless. I think that he can beat Jacob Frost. Then it gets to the real 157 is an incredible weight class. Really good weight class at 157. You got Caleb Larkin at the 1, Robidoux at the 2, Vinny Zerban the 3, Ty Waters the 4. That's just you got Teague Travis as the 7th. It's just a great weight class. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, you're looking at having a Larkin Waters semi and a Zerban Robidoux semi probably.
Okay. That is a loaded weight class. But I got to go back real quick. Swiderski is the 1 seed at 149. I don't understand how. What? That seems. Look out for David Evans at 149. I'm going to say sitting there at the 3 seed. Jacob Frost is the 2. I mean, to me, I wanted to see those two on the other side, on opposite sides of the bracket. But when are those? David Evans and Jacob Frost.
Oh. Well, Swiderski, Frost,
10 and 5.
Swiderski?
I mean, yeah. Showing Swiderski a lot of love in the rankings. 141, Vega, Echemandia. Yep.
See, that's the thing I don't understand is like he hasn't really wrestled a lot of conference duels. I don't understand how it hurts some people and it doesn't other. I mean, Swiderski, I think, is the best guy in the bracket, but that doesn't mean he should be seated number 1.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he ultimately probably is, but given what's happened up to this point. But back to 157, Kevin, talking NCAA implications here. Larkin the 1, Ty Waters the 4. Ty Waters is a guy that you've been down on this year, but sitting there at the 4 seed, I mean, you expect him to face Larkin day 2, right? Larkin, you said, is big. Maybe he has trouble making weight. Like, could you possibly see a Waters upset there over Larkin, or is that impossible? No.
No, I don't see it. They wrestled once, and Larkin beat him. It was close, but a lot of Larkin's matches are close. I don't know, man. I'm not real huge on Ty Waters. I know he won CKLV, but he won in the final by an injury default. He didn't really he had a pretty easy path compared to the other side on CKLV. He didn't wrestle Robidoux. He didn't show up for that match. But he's 17-2, but his losses, he lost to Zerban 5-2 and he lost to Larkin 4-2. But he kind of dodging, missing people, not really wrestling a lot of the top guys that some of these other guys are. I think Larkin doesn't have any issue beating him, to be honest with you. That was actually Larkin's first match at 157 when he moved up. And I think that he makes it's a much bigger spread this time around when Larkin wrestles him. Zerban seems to be healthier, than he was. He's looking a little better. His knee was pretty banged up.
I'll say this: go back to Waters. Maybe the most to gain. Kevin, clearly not a Waters fan. Austin in the comments says Kevin hates Cole in West Virginia. No, but listen, I think Waters with maybe the most to gain here. He goes out there on a day 2, gets a win over Larkin. NCAA, that would have huge implications on his NCAA
ranking. Are you kidding me, man? Are you kidding? Dude, they would put him number 1 because you would think the way they ranked him number 1 at the beginning of the season without beating anybody. I mean, if he beats Larkin, he'll be number 1 seed at NCAAs.
Wow.
I'm just busting
the opportunity there. But Yeah, and then Robideau's Urban. I mean, yes, that's going to be fun. Weight class 157 at Big 12s. Kevin 165. We're looking at Ladarian Lockett the 1, Downey the 2, Nico Ruiz the 3, Max Mayfield the 4. Anything to look for, implications here?
It's kind of funny. It's not funny, but it's strange seeing Peyton Keller there, not even ranked. He was an All-American, It's just crazy how sometimes it's either like he was the one-hit wonder or things happen in life and you're just not the same. But Nico Ruiz has quietly had a very good season this year. I don't know if it's just because he's out west or what. We don't see a lot of Arizona State matches, but he's very tough. But he could possibly beat Ryder Downey. But unless Lockett really screws up, I don't see him having any issue. I know Downey and Lockett had that really close match. Downey had him up till the end, but Lockett pulled it out. So we'll see if they have a rematch, how different that might be from, the dual meet this year.
Yeah. All right. We got to roll on. We're going to probably likely do Big 12s and then close it out with a couple of topics because we're going long here. Yeah. Austin in the comments says, Jack says a 1.5 over under NCAA titles. Austin, love you. You say a lot of smart things. That is not one of them. 1.5.
What do you think it is? 2.5?
You better make that 3.5. Austin, more like 3.5 is the over under, but we're going to close it out here with Big 12s. 174 here. Facundo gets the 1. Carter Schubert the 2. Cam Steed the 3. And Gaetan the 4. Sima the 5. Wow, that's going to be a fun 4-5 matchup. Facundo kind of the 1 seed. Interesting. Cam Steed. Yeah. Kevin, tell us about this.
Not a real strong weight, Cam Steed is, let's see, he lost 2-1 to Facundo this year. And outside of that, he lost 6-4 to Patrick Kennedy. He lost to Schubert, so it makes sense where he's seated. But when he's on, dude, he's on. So when Steed is on, he is very good. So that should be a great semi between Schubert and Steed, assuming they make it there. Gaetan, I like a lot more in dual meets than I do in tournaments. Sima is, I don't know. I watched Ruiz tech him this year. I'm not real huge on him. So I mean, Facundo, he's just got to finish those shots, but Facundo and Steed, I'm thinking might be the final.
Kevin, as my dad just brought up in the comments, my comments about Shapiro on the Cactus Show. I called Meyer Flaky Shaky Shapiro is my nickname for him.
The worst nickname ever. But it was
it's
funny.
The worst because it's the truest. I don't expect to see him.
It's the weirdest name I've ever heard.
Yeah, I made it up on the spot. But all right, let's move on. 184. Okay, this could be some fun here. You got Sinclair, you got Zach Ryder at the 2, and that's Ian Bush at the 4. Sinclair's going to take this. Zach Ryder. Anything else to talk about?
Sinclair only beat Ian Bush 2-1 a couple weeks ago.
Ooh.
Just something to keep an eye on.
Okay. And that's going to be a semifinal matchup.
With that being said, Ian Bush doesn't really score a whole lot of points. He doesn't really get a whole lot of points scored against him, just like the majority of this weight class, which will forever be known as the 4-1 SV weight class. But yeah, I don't think that Sinclair is going to have an issue winning this weight class.
Me either. Let's see Zach Ryder. All right, moving on. 197. Elam Novak, Cody Merrill, Bennett Berge there at the 4. Okay. Opportunities here. Bennett Berge, big opportunity to make a move here, obviously. Merrill. Let's see what Cody Merrill's really all about. This is the time of the year that Kale traditionally has his wrestlers wrestling the best. Is this the time of year that David Taylor is going to instill the best wrestling into his wrestlers? Cody Merrill, to me, going to be one of those wrestlers that will give us an implication into David Taylor's coaching. Your thoughts here, Kevin?
I like Novak because I just think that Novak has an offense, where Merrill, we've seen glimpses of really good stuff. Like he had Elam, but he just doesn't attack enough, So I'm going to go with the guy with more offense. But, ultimately, I think that Elam gets it done. But I'm going to say this, Zach. I think that Elam is going to have whoever he wrestles in the final, I think it's going to be possibly an upset, or he's going to win like an overtime or tiebreaker match.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm going to say look out. Keep your eye on Rune Lawrence. Upset alert over Joey Novak. Not likely, but keep your eye on it. You never know. I'm just going to say. And, all right. Let's close it out. Heavyweight here. We got Bastida, Doucette, Christian Carroll. There's your firework. You never know what you're going to get. Go play the lottery. Christian Carroll, he could end up winning this for all we know at the 3. And David Zuba at the 4. Kevin, tell us about it.
Yeah, it should be, an interesting semi between Doucette and Carroll if they make it there. Doucette's got to beat Stoner. But, yeah, I think that Doucette, I'm trying to, I do like Christian Carroll to make the final, but I think Yager Bastida is too much for him. I know they had a close match and everything, but I think he's just going to be too much. I'm just trying to see if they actually wrestled Oklahoma State. No, they didn't wrestle. So Doucette and Carroll did not wrestle this year. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I like Christian Carroll to make the final, but to lose to Bastida.
Elim, not Elam. That's crazy. That's crazy. We didn't get a chance to talk about Ivy, Mac, ACC. Maybe we'll add a show this week. But, Kevin, there are a couple other things I want to get to. The Stilly boys. You've been talking about it, man. You mentioned this on the Cactus Show. I've not had a chance. I'm going to watch it tonight. But what are we missing out? What can we watch on the Stilly boys episode 1 here on YouTube?
You don't have to be an Oklahoma State fan. I highly recommend you watch this. It gives you a very unique glimpse inside of the locker room and what David Taylor is actually talking to these guys about. Things you would never see, like at Penn State, for example, where he's a couple scenes in the locker room, he's getting right after these guys. And I'm not talking about, I'm talking about the studs. He's getting after Rabidou and Lockett. I'm not going to say what he said. You'll have to watch it, but I loved it, man. I wanted more immediately. After I watched it, I was like, man, I can't wait for the next one to come out. David Taylor's doing a really good job about being very open and transparent about things. And he's, doing his best to get wrestling going better, and the national duels was a huge thing. And, I love this video. If you're curious at all about what goes on really in a locker room, this is very transparent, this show. So highly recommended.
Penn State fans hate it. They're hating it. They're hating hearing us tell people to go watch this because, David Taylor is just the Kale 2.0. That's kind of what, I mean, right? It's kind of what, I don't know. I'm starting to kind of believe that. He is doing this in this new generation. He's taking Kale's style and translated it into this generation. But it's fun. All right, I'm looking forward to that. But we also had the thing, before that happened, Willie broke his ankle. Our best wishes again go out to Willie the Brain. Broken ankle. Not a broken brain, but he was hurt during this at RAF. RAF making headlines. You saw their head guy saying, what did he say exactly? Not all news is good news, but it's kind of good news. Like, basically, this is great news for this sport, and it probably is getting people to view it that did not before. What were your thoughts on
man,
this?
That was the best thing that could have happened. It was cracking me up when the announcer was like, oh, this is going to give Raph a black eye. Are you kidding me? I'll tell you what, the card, I was just like, I'm just sick of the matches where, you don't care. I don't need to see David Carr wrestle, a guy that hasn't been competitive for a decade and a half. I just don't, and so this was like, got me fired up. I was like, wow, it was just, it was pretty wild, I thought.
Well, it goes along the lines of, I think people would be more interested if you can create countries against countries. Did you see on the screen the rematch, apparently? Kevin, you sent me this. I wasn't even aware of this, but apparently they already have a rematch lined up in Brazil. But if you can get people to get, it's all about having emotions tied to it. It's country versus country. Okay, now I'm emotionally invested. This guy's going against America. I got an American. Or even if you can go more, not necessarily the truest, greatest form of wrestling, but maybe bigger names, people you're more interested in seeing, like celebrity names or YouTubers. Like, that's how Poulos is even there. He's a YouTuber. Like, and shocker, a YouTuber is a guy who gets a big thing going. Not to mention Caden Henschel. He's a YouTuber. He's one of the biggest names they have. Like start bringing more people like that into it. And yeah, I could see this.
What are you saying, Zach? What are you saying, Zach?
I'm saying I'm going to want to watch this rematch now. Like, now after that happened, what's that?
You want in? You want to be the YouTuber that's in, right?
No. Listen, folks.
Listen, man. You're right. If you're not going to listen, they have like everybody from worldwide signed up and under contract at RAF, right? So why can't we see banger matchups all the time? Why don't you match them up against each other? Up until this match, I was like, the matchmaker person is just, what are they doing? Like, it's like you have all these awesome guys and you can't just put them together. We have to just see all this other garbage. But this thing was a ticking time bomb waiting to happen. These two, everybody was walking on eggshells. I was completely consumed waiting to see who was going to punch who or slap who or what. This thing was, these two guys were just completely they were a disaster. It was a dumpster fire, and it was perfect matching these guys up against each other. But you're right, Zach. People want to see like a villain, right? They want to see a villain. Some people hate Arman, other people hate Poulos. They want to see Poulos get taken down because of his internet thing. That's solely what they want to see. That's what you got to draw in is, the people that, some people like love Caden Henschel. Other people, he loses and they cheer for some reason, which I don't really understand.
Yeah, some people hate him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you kind of thought you were going to get it.
I don't know. I think he's a great kid, but yeah, man, but that's what you want, right? That's what draws people in, right?
The emotional investment. And yeah,
yes.
I mean, you thought you were going to get it with Colby Covington and Bo Nickel. Like, they were kind of running at each other, and you still might, but they might do it on a different platform. But that is the kind, and the purist of the sport hate it. And I get it. Like,
but that's
I don't understand. My girls love K-pop Demon Hunter, and I can't understand that. I don't like that. K-pop Demon Hunter? What is this K-pop music?
I don't even know what that is.
I get it why the wrestling truists don't like it, but I'm here to tell you, like, this is what you need to grow the sport. And yeah, like, all of a sudden, like, I'm gonna watch it. Like, and Poulos, dude, I was shocked to see this rematch because I saw you doing an interview in a neck brace right afterwards, and I thought, Poulos, are you soft? Are you soft, Poulos?
This is the thing, man.
Don't be pulling that, Poulos. Get back on that mat, dude. Let's go.
The people that are like the true wrestling, whatever, that's what RAF is not for you. That's not what they're even trying to do. They're trying to market it more like a UFC, WWE event. They're not looking to be wrestling exactly, because let's face it, wrestling is a long way to go to reach the so they're trying different things, right? So yeah, I have no problem doing that. I think some of the stuff is corny, but this certainly wasn't. I think the pushing and giggling,
it was genuine.
All that.
It was genuine. You need genuine, because they've tried these theatrics before, and they were clearly premeditated, right? I forget
you
who
need
it
to
was.
Find people that hate each other, right? And that will bicker. Then we want to see who loses their manhood against the other guy, right?
Exactly.
We want to see. And that's what people draw in. Like, oh my God, he said this. What's he going to do when he gets beat? Or that's what you want to see. And that's what they're going for. So give it to us, Don't give us these old guys wrestling the young guy. We don't need that. Let's see people that hate each other. Figure it out, matchmaker.
Emotional investment. Wayne in the comments says he'll take on Willie. Real funny. He says that right after he broke his foot. Dad, yeah, real tough guy after Willie broke his foot there, huh? See, okay. No, but seriously, man, it's hey, I think, ultimately, again, the purists hate it, but I think it's gonna be good. It's good. I think it's good for the sport. Obviously, it's getting eyeballs. It's getting people talking about it. I got on Twitter. It's the only thing I could see. Every highlight on my Twitter scroll is this fight, dude. Different angles and Willie running out there to save the world. I thought, get him, Willie. Get him. Get him. Get him and
Willie,
smash that like and subscribe button, baby.
That was just great, Willie. I saw Willie out there. I was like, tell me this isn't the best thing ever.
My man.
Seeing Willie out there.
My man ran out there and he said, I talk that talk. I got to walk that walk. And he only was able to walk a couple steps before he got stepped on and then broke. But he's back. And best wishes to Willie out there. And Kevin, we went long. I gotta get these kids to bed, man. Got school tomorrow, so.
Real quick, I just want to say, Zach, that I've been working on quite a few projects that I have to just like simmer down the ADHD and complete them. I got like 30 different things started, but I got a lot of good stuff for our next few shows, man. Like records, stats, things along those lines that are really interesting and going to be really wild. So you're not going to want to miss that. We're going to have a couple different things on, I'm going to throw a couple different things on each of the next 3 shows that are really wild that I've been working on for a long time. So something to look forward to if you're into that kind of stuff.
If you're into it, and I'm sure you are because you stuck around this long and you watched. And if you are, go follow Kevin, because every graphic that he gives us, he also puts up on his X Twitter account at Cornell_Kevin S. Go follow him there. And listen, this is the time of the year. This is the best time of the year. We're throwing it all up against the wall. So back Thursday with my dad, Wayne, we're going live. Me and my dad are going live. We already discussed it. Sunday, we're going to be going live Sunday. Kevin, we got to do another open mat lines. That might be Friday night. We're just going to throw it all up against the wall. You leave it on the mat, boys and girls. That's what you do. And that's what we're going to do. That's our plans next couple weeks and next month. So thanks again, Cornell Kevin, joining us. The call-ins. Sean might have found a girlfriend. How about that, hot dog? I don't know, any confirmation, but yes, there's the schedule on the screen, folks. We're only a couple days away. We'll be back in 2 nights to talk more about it. This is BEG Wrestling. I got to like and subscribe, smash hammer. I don't know if it squeaks, dude. My son Joe was running around. Kelly's like, why'd you buy that? He's running around just hammering it on everything. And I immediately regretted it. And I said, I bought it for the show. I bought it for the people. For wrestling, man. All right, we're out. We'll see you. Thanks.